Electronic Arts are in a lot of hot water at the moment. Just last month, the company has been caught up in a scandal coined as EA Gate, where EA employees have been selling the most expensive and most rarest players from the game mode Ultimate Team to FIFA players. For those who are unfamiliar with the situation, or even unfamiliar with the game and EA as a company, you can tell that this isn't really right. But this isn't the first time EA has been in hot water for their antics, nor will it be the last. Just last year, EA was hit with a class action lawsuit in the United States due to its loot box system in Ultimate Team, and has been widely criticised and sued by other countries such as Canada, the Netherlands and even Belgium, as the loot box system mirrors gambling tropes and techniques used by casinos to hook people into spending their money. You might think that this isn't a big deal as it's just a game. However, when FIFA and other EA titles can be purchased by children ages 3 and up, then the real problems start to occur. There have been many stories of teenagers and young children spending over the odds on games such as FIFA and it making the news. I, myself, have been a victim of this reckless expenditure, as when I was 12 I used my dad's credit card to buy FIFA points. Sorry Dad. However, I paid back that money as it was peanuts in comparison to what some minors have been known to spend on the game, as they have been taken advantage of by these companies like EA as they do not know the true value of money, which leads them to spend a small fortune on a game worth no more than £60 at release. But why is this the case? Well, for me, there's two simple and clear reasons. Firstly, children and teenagers of a certain age will be more likely to imitate what they see others do, or in this case, what YouTubers do. YouTubers like Castro, Rotoshaw, KSI, and the Penfez are just a few YouTubers who are known for their FIFA content and Ultimate Team pack openings. As their audience demographic is largely children and teenagers, their actions will be more than likely imitated by their audience, thus leading to EA having their pockets filled with more cash. Another reason is the alleged use of dynamic difficulty adjustment in EA's games, which they were accused of using their patented system in their games by a US District Court. Dynamic difficulty adjustment, or DDA for short, is a method of automatically modifying the game's features, behaviours and scenarios in real time depending on the player's skill, adjusting these variables so that the player doesn't feel bored when it's too simple or frustrated when it becomes too hard. So as we can see, FIFA's Ultimate Team is a game based heavily on money and how you spend it. But is that the only way you can play and have fun? Well, in essence, yes, if you don't mind losing a lot. Okay, but in all seriousness, I feel that you can have a good time with FIFA by spending little to no money on the game, which is why I decided for this weekend I'll put together an extremely cheap team to play in Ultimate Team's Cherry on the Money Pie, Foot Champions. Foot Champions is the game mode where only the best of the best casual to top level players play every weekend, starting at 7 AM on Friday and finishing 7 AM on Monday. This time slot will allow you to play 30 games and matches against players of your skill set, which is decided upon your performance during the weekend league. Now, in all the years I've played FIFA, I've never actually played the weekend league, but not because I was scared, but because I was really scared. And now I'm going to take a detox from my usual expensive teams to take a step outside my comfort zone and go compete against the norm and the meta that EA has made us play so susceptible to over the years. Which I'll be using the 10,000 in-game coin team to try and battle my way through the weekend league and harness as many points as I can and see if I can prove to you and also myself that you can still have fun on FIFA without having to spend a small fortune. So I found some players for the cheap, created a solid team and began my journey into the abyss. To start, I was given 5 games to get ranked with players of a similar skill level. It started to dawn on me that there was a pattern to the teams and players I faced. Okay, I've just finished today's set of games and honestly I'm exhausted. Playing non-stop for around 4.5 hours really does put a number on your body, especially when you're facing up against people with state-of-the-art teams and who know the game mechanics inside out. Even though I have logged countless hours on FIFA, I'm just a casual gamer. I just play for fun. But playing like this really does a number on your mind and your body to the point where it's not fun anymore and it's just stressful and affects your mood. I was just playing just to get rid of my games for today and not for my enjoyment. It really does open your eyes as to how it can be quite challenging for streamers and people who take their gaming life very seriously. As on the face of it, it seems easy, but in reality it's really not. And I think based off tonight, they have earned quite a bit of my respect. But anyways, I'll see you tomorrow evening. Well, I've finally finished all my Foot Champs games, and to be honest, I'm absolutely relieved that I'm finished. It's been tough, but it's been a real adventure. and out of my 30 games I won 12, which is not amazing, but it's not too bad considering who and what I came up against. But I've also created a wellbeing quiz for myself to relay what I've experienced over the past few days. From 1 to 5, how are you feeling? 1 being sad as possible and 5 being happy as possible. I'd say I'm a 3 at the moment. I had a much better evening tonight than the previous 2, but gaming for extended hours really can affect your mood and mentality in so many different ways. Due to myself losing more the past couple of days, I felt more angry and I felt more annoyed, and I got more angry and annoyed easily at things like how people talk to me, how my family came and interacted with me, and it even put me off from studying for quite a bit as well. So these sort of effects sort of quite put a negative damper on me as such. Do you feel that the game is fair towards players with lesser value teams? In a sense, I'd say it's a really mixed bag. There's been times where I felt hard done by the so-called scripting in the game, but other times I felt like my opponent had been hard done by as well. But when you play with players of the calibre I had to deal with, then you really do feel difference in the games, and how the meta of the game starts to change and how the way you play sort of change around it. It's almost like playing with a hand behind your back, if that makes any sense. Do you feel the need to spend more money to have a better chance at winning? Now, this is tricky, as I would say that you need a healthy amount of liquid coins in the game to enjoy yourself, and spending real life money is a way to accelerate that process. But in actuality, it's about what sort of players you work well with and what your sort of playing style and mindset adapts to. As I must admit, the grind is much longer to gain coins, as by having a team like this can take you days, weeks and months to even come close to attaining. But the way FIFA 21 is set up, you can make in-game coins quite easy through rewards and squad builders and even through packs. But this is time consuming, and people who simply don't have the time will rather get the good players as fast as possible, which is understandable. And it bolsters EA's market economy and funds the games that they make. On the other side of the coin, EA is actively promoting and encouraging gambling to minors, which of course has its terrible consequences as we saw from the stories earlier. But what does that do to the child mentally, as this early stage gambling can potentially lead to various problems down the line. By doing this challenge and the research behind it, it's given me a greater insight into Electronic Arts as a company and the tactics they use to hook in players, which has gone under the radar for so many years. So it's a really tricky situation that players and EA are in if the company are forced to scrap their loot box system. So I think other companies that are behind franchises who are known for loot box usage, such as Call of Duty and Overwatch, maybe need to have a rethink of their strategies so the rest of the world doesn't start to turn their back on them one by one. So what I'd suggest to these companies is to fit a more rewarding method to the games and not to have a central focus on microtransactions, allowing players to congregate towards more team affiliated objectives rather than individuals having all the power at their fingertips. But that's in a more idealistic realm anyways, as EA's net revenue across Ultimate Team from FIFA and Madden last year was $1.49 billion, so it's not going to change anytime soon. Would you do this again? Honestly, probably not, unless I use a team of players I was used to and enjoyed using, as using low rated and cheap players is doable but very challenging and takes you out of your comfort zone, but it is rewarding and makes you feel good when you win. In the anti-advertising disruptive design module, I got inspired by the minimalist films and approaches to life, as minimalists prefer to work with only the bare necessities and essentials, which is why I wanted to assign a minimalist lens to something that is deemed not necessary at all and flip the narrative of what it means to be a minimalist in a virtual aspect, showing that you can play and have reasonable level of fun with basic plays in a video game by not spending hard-earned cash, but instead with in-game hard-earned coins. Which has made me realise also that we as consumers are the ones to blame, as the way we invest our money into money-hungry companies like EA allows them to treat us with little to no respect and put out mediocre to subpar games that are more of a blemish than a blessing in our lives. And it really goes to show that being anti-consumerist really has its pros and cons. As for one, you get to keep your money and feel good about achieving as you've worked hard for it, but you also do experience a tougher time and feel that a system is built against you from the choices you make or don't make. But I'm curious to see what the next steps are for EA as a company and how they can adapt to a world where consumers and prosumers demand better ethical practices of companies and businesses. Thank you very much for watching this video. This was all done from a university module, anti-advertising and disruptive design, and all the pieces that are not mine are credited to original makers. Thank you.